Welcome everyone to the DAIZYCHAIN Christmas special. Now although it might be Boxing Day in Australia, it's still Christmas on Baker Island, so technically I'm on time. Now to coincide with Christmas, I tend to revisit a lot of old favourite movies. And for me, one of my favourites, Kill Bill. But let's give it a bit of a Christmas twist. So the plan for the build is to recreate the infamous Bride vs. Go-Go scene, but replacing them with Santa and Krampus. Am I going to dress Krampus up in a slutty little schoolgirl outfit? You bet. Will it give you a really weird boner? Well, you better stick around and find out. It does, and it's so weird. Sounds good? Alright, let's do it. Now for this build, I'm starting with the base. To keep everything on brand, we're just going for a plain floorboard. I started with a 6x6 inch canvas base, increasing the height with some foam core. The top layer was just a 6-inch piece of board. And after some popsicle carpentry, I finished the base off with a coat of gloss Mod Podge. Now onto the interesting part. So this build was a 2-for-1. So I started with 2 wire armature frames. I've recently gotten into the habit of taping off landmarks like knees and the foot level, which makes posing much easier. With the posing all done, I threw down some bacon bond and stuck down some clay to the big joints like the hips and shoulders, just to keep everything in shape. On both skeletons, I beefed up the midsections with some alfoil before putting down another layer of clay before baking everything into place. With both armatures done, I'm ready to start on the actual build. Now, like any good Santa, I want my guy looking thick as fudge, so I'm making it look as if he's squeezed into these pants, causing a really hectic muffin top. So keeping on theme, Santa's going to be wearing the classic Kill Bill / Bruce Lee motorbike suit. With the pants done, I laid down some small snakes to make up the fabric texture and just making sure that it really looks like his peach is squeezed into these pants. A couple big blobs makes up the hanging belly and love handles, and a couple of lines with my poking tool to make up the stretch marks and belly buttons, just for that unnecessary realism. As most of the body will be covered up in the outfit, I put down the rough shape of the arms. Before starting on the hands, I need to give them something to hold on to. With some armature wire bent over a silicone smoothing tool, I made his candy cane as his weapon of choice. As for the hands, it's just 2 flattened ovals with the ends snipped off. I cut 4 slits to make up the fingers, and then it's just a series of twisting and pulling. The hands looking good, I shaped the hands around the candy cane, adding on details like knuckles and a thumb, before popping them back onto it. At this stage, we've got a very bulbous but mostly completed set. So to finish off his look, his jacket. So I started with the sleeves, ran some clay through a pasta maker and folded them around his arms to blend them into his chest. Now, because this Santa isn't one of those Ozempic Santas you see these days, he's got a big belly and a jacket that just won't fit. And to add to the absolute girth of this unit, some small snakes of clay to make it look as if that fabric is really struggling, before adding the final touches to the neck of his jacket. And let's throw on some boots. And now for that Krampus in the style of Go-Go Yubari. Starting with his legs, I'm trying to go for the old European style Krampus, which is sort of half goat, half person. So I started out with some thick thighs before making a quick slice on the legs for reference to the socks. I took a mustache comb, raking it over the legs to make him look hairy. Now, would it have made more sense to give him a chain instead of birch branches? Yeah, but I couldn't find a chain I didn't attempt to make. So, similar to the Santa build, it's just building up the arms before we add our hands onto it. Kept his paws nice and pointy before wrapping them around branches and adding them back onto the arms. Now when it comes to crafting costumes, you've always got to start from the deepest layer. So thinking about how all the layers of the clothing sit and working up. But for our Krampus, the collar and the top part of the shirt was the best place to start. And now for the reason you're all here, let's throw on a skirt. So with some extra thin clay, wrapped it around the body and blended in. I added some twisting and pinching just to make the skirt look a little bit more dynamic. With the skirt done, we're going back to the sleeves and blending them up into the chest to make up the rest of that shirt. With that blended, another layer to make up the blazer and a long snake to make up the little tie. Then it's just the blazer lapels and the rest of the sandals. Makes our Krampus schoolgirl. Pretty spooky sexy, hey? With the bodies all done, let's get some faces sorted out. So, with a ball of clay, I shaped it into a Loomis head, which I've explained in a couple other previous videos. Now I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, or even if you're not, please like and subscribe. Now, it's the end of the year, so I'm tired and I'm just going to go grab a drink. I'll be back in a sec. Can I get you guys anything? what he's doing with the teeth. Oh, bloody hell, it is. Alright, I'm back. Did I miss anything good? Alright, let's start our paint job. So I started with a base coat of black and white for our characters. So keeping with the Christmas themed suit, I taped off the pattern along the outside of the jackets and pants and used a blue tack to cover his beard, belly and hands, before giving him a once over with the red from an airbrush. Which leads us to the incredibly satisfying onion. I went in once more with the red paint to fill in any extra details. With the reds all done, I went over his belly, hands and face with some flesh tone. To finish off Santa, his beard got a black wash as well as all of his exposed skin, just to give it a bit more depth. After this, I went over all the washed skin with some flesh tones just to highlight. His beard got a white bright brush to make everything look less grey, and his lips got a light pink highlight. Now I didn't intend to make him look crazy with his eyes, but let's just call it a happy accident. Now let's move on to Krampus. Threw some white down on for the socks and some teal for the blazer. For the skirt, I put some white down just for the trim, just to make it a little bit more interesting. There was no way in hell I was going to be able to attempt to dry paint tie. With the whites all whitened and with Krampus being part goat, I went for a dark grey brown to make up the fur. For some of the smaller details, the tie got painted red and the teeth got white. To finish off the dress, a deep navy blue coat with the trim taped off to make more of a coat. Now we're almost done, so hang in there. The birch branch was finished off with a white dry brush and a black wash to the tie and the shirt, just to mute the colours. Horns got a final white dry brush and the eyes were finished with a gloss varnish. And lastly, to finish off the paint job, the fur got a light brown dry brush, paying extra attention to his goatee and his ears. With this one in the bag, holes were drilled into the base and our two clashing figures were stuck. And that makes the holiday special. If you've made it this far, I hope you all enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe. And if you've got any extra fun ideas, please comment. Stay safe and see you next time.